Hi, everybody. It's Dr. O, and thanks for tuning in to my Self-Care Minute. I usually like to start with a clever or witty or inspirational saying, but I'm starting with something that's my main thesis today. Processed foods are deliberately engineered to make you overeat. I know it's not clever, it's not witty, but that's what I feel like talking about today. Okay, so let's start off. If you start with the question, what food should you eat? A good answer would be that you should eat nutritious, healthy, and wholesome food that makes sense. And if you say, what foods shouldn't you eat? Well, the opposite of that is just true too. Non-nutritious, unhealthy, and unwholesome food is probably what you shouldn't eat. And when you say, what foods are the least healthy foods? The answers end up being something like processed foods or snack foods or what we nickname junk foods. And so my thesis today is that snack foods are deliberately engineered to make you overeat. And the key here is these aren't foods that as they appear in nature at all. They're actually synthesized. They're synthetic foods. They're engineered in factories, and they're designed to take advantage of our natural psychological processes. They're designed to trick us into eating more of them than we should. Now, the way they trick us is snack foods trigger things that are related to our primal brain, also called our reptilian brain, and this is where our sense of survival is located. We have a very strong sense of survival, so things that trigger us such that we feel like they're important to our survival, we will do more of, and that's how snack foods work. So let's break this down. Let's see how this works. Here's the first engineering trick. Snack foods are definitely sweeter, saltier, and fattier than regular healthy foods. And there's no doubt about this. If you compare nutrition labels or anything, snack foods are among the sweetest, saltiest, and fattiest foods there are. Now, what happens in our core brain, in our primal brain, back then when our brains were evolving, survival meant being able to get enough food, and food that was sweet, salty, and fatty was better for us in situations where there were food shortages, and we craved to eat those things because they're related to our survival. And so this is the first trick, that snack foods are designed to trick our primal brain into thinking we're eating food that's essential for our survival. Here's the second trick. Snack foods are engineered so that they have a mouthfeel that makes us crave them. Again, it comes back to the primal brain, but all the characteristics of snack foods, whether we're thinking of crispy and crunchy, or whether we're thinking of chewy or gooey or whatever, but all of these characteristics of snack foods are designed to make us crave them. They signal to our primal brain that these are essential foods for us to eat, and we should eat more of them while they're available. Now, an interesting thing about fats is in your mouth, fats act as though they're a flavor enhancer. Actually, fats will sort of coat your mouth and enhance the flavors of what you're eating. And so to the extent that snack foods are a little bit fattier than regular foods, you get more of a flavor rush from eating them. All right. And then here's the third trick. Snack foods are designed to bypass your body's own indicators of when you have consumed enough calories or when you are full. And so snack foods are designed so that they don't trigger your full response, so you keep on eating them. If you've ever had this experience, perhaps eating any kinds of chips or crackers, you first put it in your mouth and you crunch it up for a moment, and then as you swallow it, it feels like it just goes away completely. And you can just keep eating and eating and eating these chips or crackers or whatever you're eating because they don't trigger your body's full sensation. And that's clever. They're cleverly designed to do this. They're engineered so that they do this so that you'll keep on eating them and you'll eat more of them than you really should. Here's a little illustration, and this isn't really good science here, but it's an illustration of how this works. Dense foods like snack foods that have sugars, salts, and fats in them take up less space in the stomach. And so these dense foods don't fill up your stomach in the same way more wholesome foods like vegetables do. Okay, so what's the key to avoiding snack foods or minimizing their intake? My trick is to deconstruct snack food. Snack foods are made of fatty, salty, and sugary substances. And if you were to think about maybe you were going into somebody's office and they have a candy dish out, you were going to your grandmother's house and she had just baked cookies, or you're going out to eat and they bring out the dessert tray, and you look at all those things, whether we're looking at M&Ms or cinnamon rolls or whatever, all of these foods are made up of three primary components that are designed to get you to eat them: fats, salts, and sweets. And as you look at those cinnamon buns or you look at those M&Ms, if you can deconstruct them, if you can see them in their simple ingredients, then you have a much easier chance of avoiding them. For example, thinking of the candy dish, if it was not a candy dish, but it just was a bunch of sugar cubes, you wouldn't be nearly as tempted to just pick up a sugar cube and put it in your mouth. Or if you saw a bowl of chips out and you're tempted, oh, those chips look good, if you just think, oh, that's just a bowl of salt, you wouldn't lick your finger and put it in the salt bowl. And you would never pick up a stick of butter and just start licking it the same way you would want to pick up something like a donut or a cinnamon roll. So when you see snack foods, see them for their true ingredients, the tricks that are engineered into them. And if you can see those tricks, they're a lot easier to avoid. Now, I love comics, and so I'll just leave you with this one comic. This is a little girl is coming home to her mom. Her mom says, "Did you like the sandwich I made for you today?" And she says, "Oh, yes. I was able to trade it for a bag of potato chips and a cookie." So we can see those survival skills at work there. Okay, thanks, everybody.